As we cross the bridge into Missouri, it doesn't look like a particularly great neighborhood. The first thing we see is a woman on the side of the road leaning into a car talking to the driver and then getting in. This is Riverside Drive in the Glasgow Village area of St. Louis County. As we later found out, this is a problem area for prostitution and drug use. We pulled into the Greenway Trailhead parking area to find cars well spaced apart with people just sitting in them. Makes sense now. The Chain of Rocks Bridge was built in 1929 and was an integral part of Route 66, spanning the Mississippi River. It's unique because it has a 22-degree bend right in the middle. It's closed now, at least on this side of the river. It's recommended to visit from the Illinois side parking area due to the safety concerns on this side of the bridge. Yikes. As we go back down the road to make another U-turn, we see the lady is back. She's in the middle of the street when we turn around. I think she thought we were coming back for her as she makes us an offer as we drive past. I couldn't make it all out, but the gist of it was something about a threesome. Well, it is our honeymoon. Now we head out for the first, what I would consider, big city of our trip, St. Louis and the Gateway Arch. As we headed into St. Louis, we started to encounter large cement barricades which directed traffic into single file. First to the left on this block, then to the right on the next, and so on. Stopped at a light, a local asked us about the jerry can on the side of the Jeep, and we asked her about town. She advised us that there would be no problems during the afternoon, but that we should head out before dark as riots were ongoing. Apparently St. Louis is a hotspot for the George Floyd riots, and as we arrived in the downtown area of the city, we could see the aftermath. Graffiti and broken storefront windows were common. Arriving at the arch, we parked and walked a few hundred feet over to the park, titled, simply enough, Gateway Arch National Park. The Gateway Arch is a 630-foot monument clad in stainless steel and is the world's tallest arch. It is also the tallest man-made monument in the Western Hemisphere. It was opened in 1965 as a monument to the western expansion of the United States. And now, before the sun starts setting, it's time to get out of here. The Merrimack 66 Bridge spans 1,008 feet over the Merrimack River, connecting two pieces of the Route 66 State Park in the city of Eureka in St. Louis County. It was built in 1931 with a unique Warren Truss support structure, but is now in a great state of disrepair. As of 2021, plans are being drawn up for the restoration of the bridge, along with fundraising options. Finally, we make it to Merrimack Caverns, located in the Ozarks of Missouri, where we'll be spending the night. Legend has it that Frank James and his gang used these caverns to lay low after robberies. The caverns have been a Route 66 staple since the mid-30s. You'll see signs advertising the caverns starting about 100 miles away. They're pretty entertaining. Sort of like south of the border in South Carolina, but a much cooler destination. Did you see what I did there? Cooler caverns? I cracked myself up. So, fun fact, raccoons can open coolers, as we found out. And we ended up with cereal for breakfast after a long night because it started raining at 3 a.m. and I had to get up and put the top up on the Jeep. On the way out that morning, we came across this cave. It says, do not enter this cave between April 1st and October 30th. To do so when gray bats are present is a violation of the Federal Endangered Species Act. Apparently, if you wake them while they're hibernating, the startled mothers will drop their babies to their deaths on the rock below. And nobody wants that. Not far from the caverns, we came across the Jesse James Museum and an old toy museum. Just a couple of more closed attractions, unfortunately. We'd find a lot of these little museums closed along the way. Hopefully they've been able to weather the storm. It would be a tragedy to lose these forever. Here's a couple of classic old hotels. The Gardenway Hotel was built in 1945. The sign on its roof was added after the interstate was put in to attract passerbys. The Sunset Motel in Villa Ridge was opened in 1947 and was advertised as 12 units, 12 baths, panel ray heat, beauty rest mattresses, air-conditioned, and quiet. It was most recently a weekly apartment rental with a few rooms for Route 66 travelers. I think it was closed down when we came by. Next up is Fanning's Route 66 Outpost in Cuba, Missouri. This was a general store on the first alignment of Route 66 in 1929. The store was relocated across the street and a tavern built when the new alignment of Route 66 came through in 1930. In 2007, the old tavern was purchased and refurbished. To attract passerbys, they came up with the idea of the world's largest rocking chair. The rocking chair is the second largest in the US at 42 feet tall. The store has over 250 glass bottle sodas, 75 flavors of fudge, and 300 flavors of gourmet popcorn. I think we may have taken a wrong turn and gotten off of Route 66. Or maybe this is still Route 66. It's really hard to tell sometimes. Either way, it's a beautiful view of the countryside of Missouri. Here we come across Cookin' from Scratch in Doolittle, Missouri, known for its Route 66 King of the Road Special, a 66-ounce burger with 9 slices of American cheese with all the fixins and a pound and a half of French fries. That's free if you can eat it all in 66 minutes. And of course, a bit of roadside America. It's not every day you see a rooster in an El Camino. Larry Baggett's Trail of Tears is a memorial near the town of Jerome. It's only open a couple days a week, so we were only able to admire a few of the sculptures from the entrance. It's folk art, Ozark style, rocky creations and metaphorical statues. And then we come to the Uranus Fudge Factory. Like the sign says, the best fudge comes from Uranus. Yep, and the puns keep on coming. This place has a bit of everything. Of course they have the Uranus Fudge Factory, a huge candy and general store, but it sits in a western facade mini-town complete with dinosaurs, fire engines, and play structures for the kids. And for the adults, a saloon, burlesque show, and tattoo parlor. What more could you ask for? And then, of course, there's the world's largest belt buckle. We have finally seen it all.
Tamper-proof sealed bags, UV light sanitation, and much more. Be sure to visit Steak and Shake open 7 days a week at the corner of Highway 69.
And just across the street from the irreverence of this all, you find this. And now we're back on the road again, with Maggie driving, hands 10 and 2. Welcome to Kansas, the Sunflower State. All along Route 66, you'll find remnants of old places like this, gas stations, motels, drive-ins, restaurants, just left there to be reclaimed by nature. While the movie Cars was being crafted, writers and animators took a tour of Route 66. Here in Galena, an old rusted 1951 International Harvester L170 boom truck was sitting next to an abandoned gas station. Photos were taken, sketches were made, and Mater was born. The same truck still sits next to the gas station. Just around the corner is Luigi's Pit Stop, featuring a police car on a pole, tipped tractors, and other Kansas-related attractions. This is Galena, Kansas. Although the railroad was built through the territory of Galena in 1871, the community did not start until the discovery of lead there in the spring of 1877. The city was originally platted by the Galena Mining and Smelting Company and was to be known as Cornwall. The city was actually known as Short Creek when first established because of a nearby creek, and was known as Bonanza briefly before taking the present name of Galena in 1877, which is named after the lead ore galena found in the area.
There?
Nope, left.
Here?
Yep.
That's
the bridge.
Oh, I see now. I was like, wait, this isn't making sense.
3.5 miles north of Baxter Springs stands the elegant Brush Creek Bridge, the only remaining example of a fixed marsh rainbow arch bridge left on Kansas Route 66. The Brush Creek Bridge, also known as the Rainbow Bridge, was part of a project in the early 1920s to connect the mining communities of Galena, Riverton, and Baxter Springs with a concrete road. The unique and graceful rainbow arch design was the brainchild of James Barney Marsh, a bridge designer from Iowa who patented the concrete and steel truss design in 1912. Marsh spent the next 2 decades erecting approximately 70 of his rainbow arch bridges throughout the Midwest, most of them in Kansas, where approximately 35 still remain. Built in 1923, the 130-foot bridge carried Route 66 motorists over Brush Creek until it was bypassed by the interstate in the 1960s. Next up, Oklahoma, and a long road into Texas. Thanks for riding along with us. Until next time.